Tesla has gone through a lot. Some good news and some bad news, and there's some good news and some more bad news. And maybe the stock moves on Elon Musk action. With Elon Musk joining politics, beefing with the president, and numbers even going down, and that's just this year and not even everything that's going on. We also have the EV sector in general, with that tax cut leaving soon. How are the numbers going to stay up, you may be wondering. But we got to understand that Tesla is becoming more than just the EV company through the years. With their insane come up in AI, robotics, and autonomous driving, their company is still the future, and the market cap for all of these diverse segments, Tesla can make you a lot of money in the long run, especially robots and the autonomous vehicles, robotaxi. Honestly, even NVIDIA CEO says that robotics is chip makers' biggest opportunity after AI. But let's dive deeper into this topic and give you guys more information and when is the best time to load up on Tesla and some upcoming news and some past news to get you a better understanding on this topic. And then towards the end of the video, we're going to be giving you guys an overall outlook of the stock market as well. But let's talk about one of the most recent beefs that started. One of the biggest bulls of Tesla, Dan Ives, saying things need to be changed, with Elon Musk taking a lot of time off of Tesla and making himself look bad. That makes the stock overall not look good. I mean, just think about it. You don't want to buy a volatile stock that moves every time the CEO says something stupid. But then Elon Musk responded back, basically just saying, "Shut up, Dan." If you guys want to up your knowledge with the stock market, one thing to do is learning, and it's always like learning is key to making money in any way. With that being said, first link in the description below, I have a bunch of courses, relatively cheap, and I can guarantee you that you will make your money back within the first couple of days. But I'm not personally here to tell you guys what to buy, hold, or sell, nor am I bullish or bearish on Tesla. I'm here to give you guys ideas on what to look at while trading. I'm personally going to be looking at Tesla in the day, swing, and even for my long-term account. But I'm seeing Tesla as one of the best times to buy the dip right now, especially if we go below that 300 level once again. I'm personally going to start loading up below that 300 level. Maybe if we get to that 290 once again, I'm going to continue loading up myself and then probably dollar cost averaging as I go. And also some other price swings, maybe at $300 level for some day trades, especially right now, we're looking a little bit bearish in the short term. Maybe if we break above that 320 level, we can go up even more, maybe to that 336 to that 340 level next after that. And or we might get a bounce off that 320, maybe back down to that 310, 305 to that 300. And that is a good day trade to look at for Tesla overall. But with this one, honestly, have your patience, be caught up with the news. Honestly, man, be caught up on X as well. Whatever he says can move the market, especially if we get some back and forth beef, especially with Elon Musk and Donald Trump themselves. But Tesla has been that stock that has short-term noise like we are seeing right now. And even before election, but in 2017, they were on the brink of bankruptcy. Also, people were hating and shorting it based on their Twitter purchase, basically saying that Elon Musk is going to not have enough time for Tesla overall. But honestly, that worked out as well. And even more events that bring Tesla down, but somehow it keeps going up and keeps on breaking all-time highs. And we might even be at that level where we come back up and then break some new highs, maybe that, 600 level or something like that. I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that we do got some gaps to fill back to the upside. If we do start going back to the upside, and or if you guys are, swing traders or day traders, you can play it to the downside. Maybe we got some downside momentum all the way back down, like below that 200 level. But honestly, like I said before, have your patience, see how everything goes. Markets are literally making all-time highs, honestly, and then Tesla and even Apple is falling behind with this. So before we get into some more supports and resistance of Tesla, some better news on Tesla, and then finally the final part of the video is looking at the overall market and news that moved the market over this week. Let me tell you guys some factors that can still bring Tesla down overall. So first off, we have Elon Musk just running his mouth in general. Honestly, especially anything between him and President Donald Trump, the stock normally goes down. And then we have competition. The Chinese EVs are making more sales and breaking better records, like BYD with that insanely fast charge. And BYD sales, especially in Europe and other places like that, has been doing a little bit better than Tesla overall. And if Tesla keeps on getting further behind, EV sales going down, people are going to be looking at it for their EV sales, and the stock can go down with this too. Then we also have the loss in credits and sales. So we are losing the EV tax cut. And also we see continuously Tesla sales and numbers are going down, especially around those election times when people were hating on Tesla like a lot at that time. Then we also have the regulatory risk of full self-driving and robotaxi in general, and we can also see Waymo doing better than robotaxi as well. Honestly, there's a lot of factors that can bring this stock down, but this is another stock that you can play with news as well, especially as a day trader. You can make so much money with this, with these big swings, but then at the same time, I know a lot of people that lose money on this as well. So please, I'm gonna repeat this multiple times, but please have your patience. So let's get on the bullish side. What can change Tesla and make it go up? Number one is the numbers just go back to normal, like the sales and or beat expectations. Same thing with the earnings reports. We have earnings seasons coming back, so keep that in mind. Competition isn't really as good as they say they are. The robots, robotaxi, and full self-driving looks good and beats expectations with that as well. The robotic market is going to go parabolic, honestly, especially once we get robotics out. We see Amazon, they have most of their factory workers, or I think it's like 50-50 with robotics now, which is insane. And if Tesla does it right, they can get the most of the market share, basically making NVIDIA but for robots. So, NVIDIA is like the number one with chip sales and stuff like that. Basically, the Apple of phones, not really Apple anymore. I mean, if you see how Apple is doing, but basically making them the king of robotics. And this can bring the stock up a decent amount as well. But honestly, man, another thing is general. We just get a new CEO. Elon Musk is a great CEO, don't get me wrong, but his mind is on something else and not really focused on Tesla so much. And honestly, investors don't like this too much. With all that being said, man, those supports and resistance that I gave earlier is pretty decent. But on the way up, I will look at that 315 level, past that 315 level, 320, 325, and 330. And then to the downside, if we do start selling off a little bit more, look at that 304.5 to that 305 level, 300. If we break below that, look at that 287.5, 295, and that 290 level to the downside. If we break down lower, we can probably see a more bigger of a push, basically. But honestly, man, please have your patience with Tesla. If you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can comment down below for Tesla overall. But for the overall stock market, man, we look pretty good. Friday was low key one of those red days. I think we had like 3 red days and then 2 green days, but the green days did pretty well. If we look at the weekly, we have NVIDIA, honestly, doing very, very good. We hit that $4 trillion market cap, and honestly, it is still holding above that, which is insane. 5 trillion next. But with that being said, man, we had Microsoft up a decent amount. Palantir made a comeback and it's up 6% for the week. And other stocks are looking good too. But we do have some big news with NVIDIA. They're actually meeting up with China next week. And they also met up with Donald Trump at the White House. But they're going to be talking about a new Chinese chip that should be exportable. And if it is, this might be able to bring NVIDIA up even more. But if we get bad news with this, you might see a little bit of a dip because honestly, man, they're trying to get their market share back from China and stuff like that. And this can bring the numbers up if we can get some good news with that. So keep that on your mind, on your radar overall for NVIDIA, because we might be able to get some good news, but we might potentially have some bad news too. So we do also have some other news with Tesla. They're close to starting sales in India. They also have a showroom. And I think Elon Musk or whoever runs everything, they came out with an official Tesla India X account, which is insane. So I don't know how this will move, but I mean we will get some sales and stuff like that and just more of a market share. But even with the tariffs, they're going to be opening up in India. We also have some good news with Grok 4. Honestly, it is doing insane. A new insane chatbot performing way better than before. I mean, than the older chatbots to say, but then also it is way better than PhD owners. But that also being said, man, it is confirmed that some of the questions are basically processed and searching for Elon Musk's stance in the response. So honestly, this might be looking bad, especially with that $300 price target they have on Grok 4. We also seen that Jerome might be consider resigning. Is this true? We don't know yet. But honestly, man, with all the heat that President Donald Trump is putting on him, this might be right. But I don't think he's going to resign anytime soon. I think he has like 6 months left anyway. With all that being said, man, some supports and resistance for some other stocks to look for next week. Of course, we don't know what it's going to open up to, so it's just estimated. But AMD did do pretty good, especially on Friday. This is NVIDIA's chart. It is looking better than NVIDIA, but NVIDIA did have a big buy moment. With all that being said, man, to the upside, I am going to be looking at that 147.5. We break above that, look at 148.5 and that 150. If we could finally break above that 150, look at 151.5, 152.5, 155, and that 160 level for AMD. If we start going down, look at that 145.5, 144.5, and that 140 level to the downside. Next one is Boeing. Boeing did pretty good, especially after hours. But honestly, man, we broke above that 230 level. So let's see if we can hold above that 230 level. If we can, look at that 232.5, 235, and that 240 to the downside. If we do break below that 230 level, look at 228.5, 227.5, 225, and that 220 level for Boeing. Boeing can move pretty fast. I mean, honestly, if we look at this, it's based on news. So stay updated with news for Boeing overall. For the SPY, man, we did have a big breakdown. And honestly, man, I did play a call option towards the open of yesterday and sold it relatively fast. With all that being said, we did kind of rally up the rest of the day, but we closed down, I think a little bit below. We closed a little bit below last Friday, basically. But with that being said, to the upside, if we do start going back up, look at that 623.5, 624.5, 625, and that 630 level next. I mean, that's all-time highs basically, but past that 630, we might see some more momentum to the upside. For Nvidia, man, honestly, this depends on how news and everything goes. I'm probably not going to play next week, or I might, unless we get like a big dip. Then it could be a good dip buy situation for some options. But with that all being said, if we do start going back up, look at that 165, 165.5, 167.5, and finally, maybe we can hit that 170 level for Nvidia. To the downside, though, look at that 163.5, 162.5, and finally that 160. We break below that, look at 158.5, and then all the way down to that 155 level for Nvidia. Please have your patience with this one, but you can make a decent amount of money. And then Palantir, one that has been rallying up a decent amount. But with that all being said, look at that 145 and then that 150 next. Past that 150, look at 152.5, 155, and 160. If we do start selling off again, because we do look like we're kind of slowing down a little bit. But honestly, look at the range of 145 to that 140. If we break above that 145, we might look a little bit more bullish overall. If we break below, we're going to probably sell off a little bit more. We might potentially. With that being said, below that 140, look at 138.5, 135, 132.5, and that 130 level to the downside. Now let's talk about Bitcoin, one that has been hitting highs day by day, rallying a lot. Is it slowing down, or are we going to break up above that 120? We don't know yet, but some stocks that you can trade with it is MSTR. They have a big holding, and also Coinbase, but ETF, and they have way more money than MSTR themselves and rallied more than any other ETF is IBIT. I personally shout this one out in every single video, but this is one that I like to trade, especially if I'm trying to get into those Bitcoin moves, just because if we go down to these options, man, look at the price. Let's just get 3 weeks out, and honestly, $250. They are a little bit more expensive than they were before, like $50 upcharge. But with that all being said, it does still look pretty good. And IBIT is a great one to trade if you guys want to get into, Bitcoin in general. XRP is also making some big moves. We almost broke that $3 level. I honestly want to see if we can break that $3 level. It's kind of moving how Bitcoin is moving, but just slower and more like less expensive to say. I'm not saying load in the XRP. I mean, maybe it's not really a good time, honestly. I personally try to load in at around that $2 level if we can get back down to that. But honestly, man, this is one to have your patience in, and it's not time to load in. Honestly, if you're loading in now, you might not. The chances, the risk is way too high, basically. But with that being said, XRP is looking pretty decent, but I would just have your patience. It's not a good time to load in my opinion. I mean, you never know. We might spike up some more, but it just the risk to reward just isn't there for XRP, and I don't recommend getting into it. Same thing with Bitcoin. Then we also have the same movements with Ethereum. It is looking like we are making a little bit of a sell-off. Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, crypto in general. It is not really looking too good right now. We had a little bit of a rally, and we do have some gaps to fill downwards. So please have your patience with crypto in general. I think the move, I'm not saying it's over right now, but we might have a minor little pullback, and then you can load in. Just wait till it sells off a little bit more. Have a confirmation. Get into your little pullback by the dip moment, and then get into it. But have your patience with crypto in general. I try to stick to stocks, but sometimes I'll do IBIT if the play is looking right. With all that being said, man, good luck trading. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. Take some time off, man. Get some rest. And with all that being said, thank you for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.